Have you ever, stared at a beautiful 4K display only to realize the source you want to connect is just a bit too far away for a standard HDMI cable?
Hmm.
That sort of invisible wall, maybe around 15 feet, where the signal just kind of gives up.
Yeah, the dreaded flicker or dropped frame.
Or it's just a blank screen. It's a common headache, really frustrating when you're trying to build a great AV setup.
Absolutely.
So today we're diving into a piece of tech that's engineered to, well, smash right through that barrier. It's called the 4K 60 Hz LHDT Extender to 110 feet with HDCP 2.3, ED audio, and IR. Quite a mouthful.
It is. And what's really innovative, I think, about devices like this is how they tackle the basic physics of digital signal transmission over distance.
Right.
Because as resolutions like 4K become standard and, content protection gets more complex, those standard cable limits,
Yeah.
they become even more obvious. So this deep dive isn't just about describing a product. It's really about understanding the clever engineering that lets us get that crystal clear audio and video, without being tripped up by distance.
And making sense of all those acronyms, HDCP, EDID, they're crucial for that premium experience.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's get right into it then. At its core, an extender. It isn't just a longer wire, is it? It's more like an intelligent relay.
That's a good way to put it. It takes that delicate, high-bandwidth HDMI signal, it boosts it, regenerates it, basically prepares it for a much longer journey.
And this specific device uses something called advanced LHDT technology. Now, for our listener who maybe knows their AV stuff, what exactly is LHDT? Why is it such a game changer for getting signals across a room or maybe even a whole building?
Yeah, that's the key question, isn't it? And it's where the real magic happens. While LHDT is a proprietary tech for high-def transmission, you can think of it as an incredibly smart signal converter. It meticulously packages up all your complex HDMI data, the video, the audio, even the control signals, into this really robust format.
Right.
And the crucial part is it can then be reliably sent over a single, widely available, and actually surprisingly inexpensive network cable.
You mean like a standard Ethernet cable?
Exactly. A Cat5e, Cat6, or even Cat7,
Mm-hmm.
which means you're no longer wrestling with those thick, sometimes fragile, expensive HDMI cables.
Oh, that's fantastic. Running those through walls is a nightmare.
It really is. So instead, you're using readily available Ethernet infrastructure.
Yeah.
Much simpler.
Yeah, the practicality of using standard network cable for those long runs,
Mhm.
that's a huge advantage. Simplifies installation, less bulk.
And it can really cut costs compared to, running specialized high-grade HDMI.
Definitely. And the distances it can cover are pretty impressive, right?
They really are. For
Yeah.
a crisp 1080p 60 hertz signal, you can push that up to 70 meters. That's about 220 feet.
Oh,
And sometimes under optimal conditions, maybe even up to 100 meters, which is around 330 feet.
that's huge. Way beyond standard HDMI.
Oh, absolutely. And for that high-resolution 4K 60 hertz content, which needs a lot more bandwidth,
Yeah.
this extender can reliably send that up to 35 meters or about 110 feet. And even for 4K, depending on the setup, you might stretch that to 70 meters, 220 feet.
That's still far beyond what you'd get from a passive HDMI cable without serious signal loss.
Exactly. You'd need expensive active cables otherwise. And even those have limits.
Okay, so we've beaten the distance problem, but getting that high-quality signal to arrive and play correctly, that involves more than just length, doesn't it? This extender, it sounds like it acts as a full communication hub, packed with critical features. Let's maybe decode some of those acronyms that make it so powerful, starting with HDCP 2.3.
Right.
Most of us have heard of HDCP, but maybe we overlook why the specific version 2.3 is so vital for modern 4K content.
Well, what most people might not realize is that HDCP isn't just, a technical spec. It's a critical handshake. It's almost invisible until it fails.
A digital bouncer, kind of?
It's exactly. HDCP stands for High Bandwidth Digital Content Protection. It's the security guard for copyrighted stuff. And without the specific 2.3 version for modern 4K content,
You run into trouble.
big trouble. You could have a perfect 4K TV, a 4K player, all the gear, and still get nothing. A blank screen, maybe an error message.
Ah, okay.
It's the standard that protects the content creator's rights,
Okay.
basically. So if you don't have 2.3 compliance, you're locked out of premium 4K movies, streaming services. It's absolutely non-negotiable today for seamless viewing.
Right, that blank screen is exactly what you want to avoid after spending money on good AV gear. So HDCP 2.3 is the key for content security. Got it. Next up, EDI management. Now, I've heard the term, sounds super technical, but I've definitely run into those moments where, say, a new TV just won't talk properly to an older source about resolutions. Is ED often the hidden culprit there?
It very often is.
Yeah.
You've hit on a really common pain point. EDID extended display identification data. It's like the negotiation protocol between your display and your source.
Right.
It's how your TV tells your streaming box, for instance. Hey, here are the resolutions, refresh rates, and audio formats I support.
Right.
If that conversation breaks down, maybe the data gets corrupted over a long cable. You end up with mismatched settings. No picture, maybe a weird distorted image, wrong audio.
Yeah, frustrating.
So this extender having EDID management on the transmitter is really clever. It basically ensures the source gets accurate, optimized info about what the display can actually handle.
So it prevents those resolution mismatches before they even happen.
Precisely. It avoids those blank screens and compatibility headaches.
That sounds like a lifesaver. Okay, now for sound. This extender mentions audio embedded capabilities. What kind of flexibility does that give you?
Well, it's really about giving you options for your audio setup. Audio embedded just means it sends the audio right alongside the video over that single network cable.
Simple enough, no extra audio cables needed.
Right. But the de-embedded part on the receiver end, usually through a little 3.5mm audio jack, that's the really handy bit. It lets you split off the audio from the video signal at the display side. So maybe your TV speakers aren't great, or you want to send the audio to a separate sound system or amplifier.
Even if the display itself doesn't have an audio output.
Exactly. You can pull the audio right out of the extender's receiver unit. Gives you a lot of flexibility.
That's great for custom home theater setups or maybe conference rooms. And then we have bi-directional IR and RS-232 control. This sounds like next-level convenience.
It really is.
Can you break down what IR and RS-232 are for and why bidirectional is such a big deal?
Sure. So IR, or infrared, that's basically the language your normal remote control uses to talk to your TV, your Blu-ray player, cable box, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
RS-232 is a more robust serial communication protocol. You see it more in professional AV setups for really precise control of devices, often from like a central automation system.
Okay.
Now, the bidirectional part is what makes it so convenient. It means control signals can go both ways. So you can send signals from the display location back to the source device and from the source location to the display.
So if my Blu-ray player is tucked away in a closet down the hall, I can still use my regular remote control in the living room to operate it through the extender.
Flawlessly. It gives you full control from either end of the connection. Really useful.
Okay, so this extender isn't just pushing the picture further. It's maintaining a secure, compatible, and fully controllable AV environment across that distance.
That's a great summary.
And then, to top it all off, it includes PoE functionality, Tower over Ethernet. That sounds like a real quality of life feature.
It genuinely is. PoE is a fantastic convenience. It means only one side of the extender setup, either the transmitter box or the receiver box, needs to be plugged into a wall outlet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the other unit actually draws its power right through the Ethernet cable itself.
That's pretty cool.
It vastly simplifies installation, less cable clutter. And it can be a huge help in places where power outlets are hard to come by or just inconvenient to access.
I can see that being really useful.
Yeah, all these integrated features, they really show the sophisticated problem solving that's engineered into these devices. It makes complex AV setups feel much more seamless.
Absolutely. That's a ton of power and convenience packed in.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about some of the nuances of 4K itself, because you mentioned not all 4K signals are the same, and this extender handles them differently. This detail about 4.4.4 versus 4.2.0 input, that sounds like one of those aha moments that could really affect your setup.
It is. This distinction about color subsampling, it's a perfect example of how bandwidth directly impacts what you see, your visual fidelity. And it's pretty critical for anyone working seriously with 4K.
Okay, so what's the deal?
So when this LHDT extender gets a 4K 60 Hz 4.4.4 input signal, the output is actually scaled down to 1080p at 60 Hz.
Oh, interesting. Why?
Because a 4.4.4 signal carries the full uncompressed color information for every single pixel, which demands an incredibly high bandwidth.
Gosh.
More than this particular extender is designed to carry over those long distances while maintaining that perfect color fidelity.
So if you're doing something like maybe detailed graphic design work on a PC or displaying really crisp text at 4K 60 Hz, where every pixel's color has to be dead-on accurate, That's 4.4.4.
That's typically 4.3.4, yeah.
And in that specific case, the extender prioritizes the perfect color, but has to drop the resolution to 1080p to fit it within its bandwidth limits for the long run.
Precisely. It's a trade-off in that very specific high-demand scenario. However,
Yes.
when the extender gets a 4K 60 Hz 4.2.0 input, the output stays 4K 60 Hz 4.2.0.
Okay, and what's 4.2.0?
At 4.2.0 subsampling, the color information is sampled less frequently than the brightness or luminance information. Basically, it compresses the color data.
Does it look worse?
Well, it drastically reduces the bandwidth needed, and for the vast majority of video content, movies, TV shows, streaming the human eye generally doesn't perceive much, if any, difference in that color detail. So 4.2.0 is super efficient. It's become the standard way to deliver high-res video while saving bandwidth.
So if you're watching a normal 4K movie or streaming Netflix in 4K, that's almost always 4.2.0 anyway.
Pretty much always, yes.
And in that case, this extender delivers the full 4K picture, no problem.
Exactly.
Okay, understanding that nuance definitely helps manage expectations. And it's good to know it's compliant with HDMI 2.0 and HDCP 2.3 seems essential for compatibility now and down the road.
Absolutely. It really highlights that specifications aren't just numbers on a page. They directly affect performance and where you'd use the device.
Right.
That 4.4.4 versus a 4.2.0 distinction is maybe more critical in professional settings like cinemas or high-end conference rooms, probably less so for typical home viewing.
Speaking of applications, where is this kind of extender typically used? It sounds pretty robust.
Yeah, it's not just for niche pro setups. The source material we looked at highlights its popularity in places like media conferencing rooms.
Makes sense. Long runs need reliability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So schools, government facilities, even cinemas, places where you need dependable long-distance signal transmission.
Those are definitely environments where high-quality AV is non-negotiable and long cable runs are just part of the job. It shows this tech isn't just a home theater gadget, it's for mission-critical stuff, too.
Definitely versatile.
Okay, we've covered the what and the why. Let's maybe touch quickly on some of the core specs that make it all work. It boasts a 10.2 gigabits per second bandwidth. What does that number really mean for video quality?
Yeah, that 10.2 GBp's bandwidth is fundamental. It basically dictates the maximum amount of data, video, audio that can flow through it per second.
Like the width of the highway.
Exactly like that. For high-res stuff like 4K, especially at 60 Hz, even with 4.2.0 color, you need a good amount of bandwidth. It's that highway capacity ensuring a smooth, clear signal, no artifacts, no visual lag.
So 10.2 GBps is enough for that 4K 60 Hz 4.2.0 signal over those long distances.
It's specifically chosen to handle that effectively, yes.
And it supports a really wide range of resolutions beyond just 4K, which is impressive.
It does. It handles common computer resolutions like 1920 by 1200, 1280 by 800.
Standard HD stuff like 1080p, 720p.
Right. 1920 by 1080, 1280 by 720, and then all the way up to various 4K standards, 4K at 30 Hz, and that key 3840 by 2160 at 60 Hz.
That broad support must make integration a lot easier.
It really does. It means it can work with a huge range of devices, old and new, consumer and pro. Less chance of running into compatibility walls.
And physically, they're pretty small units.
Yeah, quite compact. Each box, transmitter, and receiver is just under 6 inches long, 4 inches wide, about an inch thick.
Easy to hide away.
Very. And lightweight, too, only about 0.35 pounds each. Easy to mount. Power-wise, they sip power, less than 10 watts. And they work with standard global AC power, converting it down to 12 VDC.
That's surprisingly efficient for something doing so much signal processing. And one last crucial point on compatibility. The source mentioned it can work with other LHDT equipment, like Sony HD-based projectors. That sounds significant.
It is. That's a really key insight into where this fits in the broader AV world. HD-based is a global standard for sending uncompressed HD multimedia.
Right.
The fact that this extender's LHDT technology can interoperate with HD-based gear, like a Sony projector, suggests a valuable level of, well, standardization.
So you're not totally locked into one specific brand's ecosystem.
Exactly. It offers real flexibility for integrating into existing AV setups and gives you some future-proofing. You can potentially mix and match compatible gear down the line.
That's a huge bonus. Okay, so this deep dive, it really shows that extending a signal, it's not just about length, is it? It's about keeping everything intact, quality, security, control across that distance. This 4K 60 Hz LHDT extender, it really feels like a testament to how specialized tech helps us beat physical barriers in our digital lives, making sure our HD content looks and sounds right no matter how far it has to travel.
Well said.
And hopefully, understanding the details, LHDT, HDCP, EDID, even color subsampling, empowers you, the listener, to make better, more informed choices for your own AV setups, whether that's a big home theater, a conference room, or something else entirely.
Indeed. And as resolutions keep climbing, 8K and beyond, and content demands just keep evolving, these kinds of extenders become absolutely essential tools. They bridge that gap between source and display without sacrificing quality or critical function.
Yeah, it definitely leaves you thinking.
It does. It leaves us with a thought, maybe. As this tech gets even better, more seamless, maybe even invisible to the user,
Yeah.
how will future innovations keep pushing those boundaries of distance and fidelity?
Yeah, what's next?
And what new demands or maybe even creative opportunities do you see coming up as our AV systems get increasingly connected and stretched out over longer distances?